Hello, guys, and welcome to the first episode on Confession with King K. So, this is one of the confession I got on my Facebook page named Confessions with King K. So, keep following the page and also share some of your confessions and stories. So, the confession reads like this. Hi, King K. I have a confession to make. My name is Anonymous. I'm from KZN, but I was staying in Tembisa while working in some place somewhere around Sandton as a house guard. I'm a single father who stays alone when my daughter is still studying at some university around Joburg. Uh, the mother of my daughter passed away a few years back, and I was struggling to raise my girl alone. Even though I tried, it was still not enough since to maintain and support the girl who's at the university was not easy since I had no savings for her studies. So at work, my boss was some Nigerian guy who was wealthy and had everything everyone could wish for. So I always pray that the security company I was working at could place me at his house every day, cause when we about to knock off, he always had something to give us just to support our family. He didn't mind to give us a mere 10,000 or 1,000 just for working at his house that day. I was always curious about where does he get so much money to give us every day. Up until someday I had to approach him because I wanted to work as his personal security just to be his bodyguard, but he refused and told me that he had a better offer. He told me that I should come inside his house during one of my night shifts because we never entered his house. I was happy to finally sit down with him. We had lunch and we just spoke since he was more interested on my life and why did I settle to be a security guard. So I explained everything about my life. At the end of the conversation we had, he gave me just 10,000 just to speak with him. I was scared and surprised because it was a lot for me. So I went home happy that day because I had enough to settle my daughter's school debts for that year. The next morning it was a Saturday. I went straight to my daughter at university to give her the money in cash because I didn't want the bank to ask me many questions about where I got so much money since I'm a security guard. So my daughter was happy to finally study in peace because the debt was worrying her too. I was happy, but when I got home, the curiosity started kicking in. I was wondering the whole night about where the Nigerian guy got the money. I couldn't sleep that night. However, at night I was woken up by a call from my daughter's phone. But it was her roommate speaking. She was speaking while scared and crying, telling me that my daughter is not breathing, and that happened after she had her screaming the words, "Leave me alone, I didn't know it was your man." Yeah? I was shocked and scared about what's going on. Who does the money belong to? So the roommate took her to the hospital together with the campus resident security. But when she was admitted at the hospital, they said it was some certain kind of illness. I don't even know. So, so it was some certain kind of sickness. I don't know. I didn't understand what they said at all. So on Monday, I went to the Nigerian guy and asked what did he do. He just laughed and said, "Welcome, brother. I just changed your life. As I saw you crying, complaining, but you will understand one day." I was confused and angry at him. He then took me to his secret room without explaining anything to me. When he got inside, I found some old man that I was introduced to. The old man said, "Welcome, I was expecting you." I was more confused because I didn't sign up for what's going on. Then I saw my daughter on the mirror that was in the room. That's when I started crying. Then started explaining that they started explaining that there's the ones who made my daughter to be at that hospital, and they doing that to help me also to take the first step for me, because they initiated me from the first day I started taking the money from them. Those 10Ks I took and those 5K I took when I knock off, they were a form of connecting my spirits to them and what my spirit desire. I then asked them, what about other securities that I was working with? Because they also took the 10Ks. Then they said their spirit and luck was already taken by some businesswomen they sleep with while at work. I was confused more. They gave me some lotion I have to apply when I visit my daughter in hospital, and they instructed me to hug my daughter when I get to the hospital. When I get to the hospital, and that will mean I'm taking a soul. They gave me 3 days to do so, or I will be the one who dies, and eventually she will die too of that certain kind of illness that is she's heavy. I had no choice to do what I was asked because I think it wasn't I wasn't in control. The next day my daughter passed away at night and I received a call. Then from hanging up the call, I then saw a big bag near my door with a lot of money in it. I didn't know whether to cry for my daughter or to be happy for the money. So I took the money to prepare my daughter's funeral. Then everything was fine until the end of the funeral. Then at night of that day of the funeral, I was instructed to go to the graveyard and sleep on top of my daughter's grave as a form of apology to my daughter, so that she doesn't bother me while I continue with my life. I did everything I was asked. Then I had to stay at our house for a week without spending the money ridiculously. I had to stage my way of financial success. I made rumors to my Tembisa hood that my daughter left me with her school saving money since she didn't finish studying. So I have some money from my daughter and I'm planning to start investing in some forex trading and Bitcoin. So I stayed at home with my daughter's laptop, acting like I'm playing forex or Bitcoin. So my neighbors can continue with the rumors that I'm investing. Even though I knew there is no such wealth that come from those platforms, I then started spending money after 2 weeks, telling people I made it. I bought my house same street as the Nigerian guy and some few cars. Everything was fine for a moment, but I just couldn't even enjoy the money when I knew my daughter and my mother's daughter didn't have any tombstone. So I planned alone without consulting with the old man about my ideas of making them a tombstone. Then within 1 week I was done with their tombstone, not knowing that was the day I'm bringing them back in my life. Because the day I stepped near their grave was the day I fetched them from the grave. From that day, it was the day they started hunting me. In my house, I always see my late wife crying and insulting me for taking our daughter. I couldn't sleep at all. I tried to sleep inside my car, which is Vito because it's big. That's when I see my daughter crying too. I couldn't sleep there too. Then I ran immediately to the Nigerian guy and asked for help. He then suggested I should go see the old man because he doesn't stay with him. But the Nigerian guy was also mad about what I did. We then suggested I would go to the club and drink for the night till morning when we leave to the old man. Remember, I had money, so the bag can fill itself with money overnight. But when the doctor and mother started visiting me, the money stopped coming. So when we get to the old man, he said, "Welcome, I knew you were coming." I was surprised again because he always knew when I'm coming. He then told me that in order to keep getting my wealth, I have to find two babies between the age of 2 to 3 months to purify my soul, or else I will run mad. But I then had no idea where I was going to get the babies. Then when we left the place, the Nigerian guy gave me an idea about where to get the babies. He told me that I should go to the hospital, but in order to get access to the babies, I had to dress and act like a pastor and pretend like I'm there to pray for the kids. May God forgive me about what I did. So all I had to do was lift and hold the kids with my hands while I pray and say some certain words. Those words were in foreign language. So in the process of praying, I call those words like I'm speaking in tongues, like Kurishanda Barada, something like that. So that was when I purified my soul, but it only gave me the worth for 5 years, because after 5 years, the two kids started getting sick. That's when the mother will consult and find solution. So that solution was found for the kids. Now I'm back to zero, since everything I did to them came to me. So also the two kids cried at night even when they got their life back. I'm not living like a stranger. I'm now living like a stranger in my house. I'm even having suicide thoughts.